Age of Imprisonment is only 4 months away, and I've already made several videos covering the game thus far. We've analyzed both of the trailers, and now we're going to go over what characters I think are going to be playable in this game. Similarly to the previous video, I'll be using Age of Calamity, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom to help support my predictions. And of course, when the game is released and I'm able to complete the game, I'll be able to come back and address my predictions in a future video. This is mostly fueled by interaction and discussion, so if you agree or disagree with any of my predictions, please drop a comment and let's start a discussion. And just a general disclaimer, this video wasn't meant to be like, hey, this is 100% true, you need to believe me. It's more so me offering my own perspective on a topic that I'm fairly acquainted with. Please try to avoid plain criticism, as I happily accept constructive criticism, as it tends to be, well, constructive. The internet is a hateful place, and life is short. If you want to create content, no matter what it is, you shouldn't convince yourself or let others convince you that you shouldn't do what you want to do. Comments like this are from people who clearly just missed the point, so if you have an open mind, please be my friend. I'm in need of more. But anyways, I digress. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And if I get a prediction wrong, you get to make fun of me in my comment section because this is the internet. And I just realized I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Sawyer, by the way, and I make videos every now and again on Legend of Zelda and other stuff that I enjoy. Thank you for being here, by the way, and without further ado, here are my predictions for which characters will be playable in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Firstly, we'll be going over the characters that are fully or almost fully confirmed to be playable in Age of Imprisonment. In the 2 trailers that have dropped for the game so far, we get to see a plethora of semi-familiar faces from Tears of the Kingdom in a more personal light. Zelda, Rauru, Sonia, and Minoru, the Ancient Sages, just as a few examples. We know for a fact that this game will tell us the story of the Imprisoning War, as I briefly covered in my previous video, so I expect the story to follow a similar beat to the memories revealed in Tears of the Kingdom. Sort of similar to how some of the memories from Breath of the Wild and scenes from Age of Calamity match up, I think that some of the scenes from Tears of the Kingdom and Age of Imprisonment are going to line up. I also pointed this out in my previous video as well. Zelda will most certainly be our main or starting protagonist for this game, more than likely followed by Rauru and Sonia, as they meet Zelda almost immediately after she awakens from her trip backwards in time. Since these 3 share powers as well as a blood connection, I expect the first team-up specials we unlock to either be between Zelda and Rauru or Zelda and Sonia, or perhaps there are no limits on any character team-ups and we can be a little delusional here. Gentle reminder, this is just speculation. Something else that I thought was worth mentioning, as I just can't get it off my mind, is how Zelda's story in Age of Imprisonment seems to align with Tarako's story in Age of Calamity. Tarako is the miniature 3-legged guardian from Age of Calamity that plays a vital role in the alteration of the timeline to prevent the Great Calamity from occurring. Activated by Princess Zelda when she was a child, Tarako traveled through time to rally allies and ultimately sacrificed itself to break through Calamity Ganon's defenses. Zelda, in Tears of the Kingdom, has been sent back in time and ends up playing a very vital role in altering her own timeline as well, whether the time loop was already established or not. Through Tears of the Kingdom's story, we know that, notwithstanding other sacrifices, Zelda ends up sacrificing herself as well in order to deliver the Master Sword to Link in the present, repaired and stronger than before. When you lay it all out, these stories seem to be too similar for it to just be a coincidence. Anyway, back to the characters. After we unlock Zelda, Rauru, and Sonia, I expect us to shortly unlock Minoru, as our current cast recruits her help fairly soon after Zelda gets back to ancient Hyrule Castle and changed into a more timely attire. We'll probably get a cool little team-up special with Rauru and Minoru since they're siblings and the last 2 remaining members of the Zonai tribe. After this, we will probably get to unlock the masked sages that we see featured in the trailers and memories. Whether we unlock them slowly or all at once, I'm unsure. I would assume they would take a similar route that Age of Calamity did and let you unlock them one at a time via more challenging missions. And now we're just going to stick our toes a little bit deeper into the speculation zone. In Age of Calamity, we got to play as the 4 champions as well as their successors. This makes me think of a certain memory in Tears of the Kingdom where we witness Rauru bestowing the secret stones to the 4 masked sages that we're already familiar with. This scene really makes me believe that there's a possibility that there were Zonai versions of the 4 masked sages that we already know today. Similar to Age of Calamity where we play as the 4 champions and their successors, what if we get to play as the masked sages and their predecessors, and perhaps even unlock them as characters? More than likely I just expect some more lore to drop around them, but being able to play as an ancient Zonai sage would feel so fitting for this game, to be honest, and also just be really cool. And now a little bit deeper into the speculation zone. Something that I briefly brought up at the end of my previous video didn't seem to sit well with some people, but this has inspired me to instead flesh out this theory a bit more. At the end of the new trailer that just dropped a week or so ago, we get to see a Zonai construct looking character resting in what almost appears to be like what we find Mineru's other constructs in Tears of the Kingdom in the Spirit Temple. I said in my previous video that there were two possible theories as to who this could be. The first theory, and the one that's more likely and more popular, is that this construct is Fi, however you pronounce their name. This is the theory that many people agree on, as their theme begins to play towards the end, and we know that Fi is in the Master Sword in Tears of the Kingdom, as the Master Sword is able to communicate with Zelda after being sent back in time to be repaired. This is very concrete. However, my little speculatory brain cannot help but wonder, what if this isn't Fi, faux fum? And this is where my second theory comes in. What if Zelda's stories and memories that she shared of Link inspired the remainder of the Zonai to build a construct that was inspired by Link? Since the founding era of Hyrule seems to lack an organically born vessel for the Triforce of Courage, it would make sense that the Zonai's technological capabilities and possible knowledge of the goddess Hylia and Triforce, that they were able to create a construct like this. Instead of sitting and waiting for a hero to rise, since time is a luxury they don't have, they decided to bring one around artificially. This could also be why we haven't seen anything about the ancient hero yet, other than the tapestry and that one unlockable outfit in Tears of the Kingdom. The ancient hero could be a Zonai construct. And now that I've thoroughly pissed off many people, I'm just going to go over some other characters that I just wanted to throw in here, essentially for the fun of it, honestly. None of these characters are confirmed to be playable, and this is all purely my own speculation, like completely. Age of Calamity had 21 unlockable characters, including characters that were in the 2 waves of DLC that the game received. These characters included Link, Impa, Zelda, Mipha, Daruk, Rivali, Urbosa, Hetsu, Sidon, Yunobo, Tiba, Riju, Master Koga, King Rome, Great Fairies, Monk Maz Koshia, Tarako, Calamity Ganon, Battle-Tested Guardian, Suga, and Pura and Robbie as a duo. We already have our main characters, Zelda, Rauru, and Mineru, and I'm going to go ahead and correct myself now, as through this whole video I've been claiming that we'll be able to play as Sonia. I do not think that we'll be able to play as Sonia, because she dies, sadly. Rest in peace, our queen. So on top of our main 3 that we already have, we also have the 4 masked sages, and also the possibility of playing as their Zonai predecessors. This already gives us a good chunk of characters, but now I want to do some speculation based on Age of Calamity's characters. Age of Calamity also included the Yiga leaders as playable characters, as well as many other villains like Calamity Ganon. I would not be surprised at all if we were able to play as Ganondorf, or even the Demon King version of Ganondorf at some point later on within Age of Imprisonment. We may even get to see her play as some of the people who were closest to him. Similar to how Suga is Koga's assistant technically, maybe Ganondorf had a more personal assistant. I also think that there is a very good possibility that we will get to play as the Great Fairies again, or maybe even their ancestors. And just because I think it would be cool, I think that we should be able to play as one of the many Zonai constructs that we get to see and fight in Tears of the Kingdom. It would only be fitting considering we could play as a tiny and a battle-tested guardian in Age of Calamity. It would be such a funny little twist if those little passive Zonai constructs that run the little Zonite mines were all of a sudden kicking butt in Age of Imprisonment, honestly. Anyways, that's all that my little mind can muster for the moment. What do you think? Do you think that my character predictions are crazy, or do you agree with some of them? Do you think that I missed a possible character? Let me know down in the comments. I'm always covering Legend of Zelda stuff here on this channel as I'm able, so if you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps out the channel and lets me know how I'm doing as a creator. I'm not sure when my next video will come out or what it will be on, but keep an eye on my socials and shorts to get an idea of what may be cooking up. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. My name is Sawyer, and I'll catch you in the next video.